What's up, people? So, I went out and I did my exercise routine. I still didn't do any boxing, but I did a little bit of exercise. Looks like I need to eat a late night snack. I think I ate too early in the afternoon around 4. So, I got a little gas, so I'm going to have to deal with that. But, let me get to the fights. So, I want to talk a little bit about, we already talked about Sergey Kovalev versus Anthony Yarde, who I think I'm picking. I must say that I'm going to be passing gas like crazy. I must say that Anthony Yarde and his trainer, they look very confident. I must say that their mentality is very interesting. So even though I favor Kovalev, you know, they may have something up their sleeve, you know what I'm saying? But I favor Kovalev, and that's that. But there's some other fights over that weekend I didn't talk about, which is Juan Francisco Estrada. He will be out facing Duane Beamon. So that should be an interesting fight. I mean, I don't know too much about Duane Beamon, so of course I favor Juan Francisco Estrada to win that fight. I wanted to break down the fights, but I haven't looked at the fighters yet. So until I look at the fighters and I look at the fights, I can't really say much about them. Okay, but the two fights I really want to talk about have to do with way in the future. Well, one of them is going to be at the end of this month, which is Saturday, August 31st. Vasily Lomachenko versus Luke Campbell. And the second fight I really want to talk about is Andy Ruis versus Anthony Joshua. All right? But there are a number of other fights that are going to be happening, and I can see them in front of me, just in case you guys don't understand what's going on. These are the fights here in BoxRec, so they're right in front of me. And Erislandy Lara is going to be fighting Saturday 31st at the same time as the Luke Campbell, at the same date at least, as Luke Campbell and Vasily Lomachenko. Since they're in English time, their fight will be happening earlier in the day. And we also have Hughie Fury, who will be facing Alexander Povetkin. So there's also that fight that's going to go on. And then we also have Caleb Truax versus Peter Quillen. Of course, the Hughie Fury Alexander Povetkin fight is on the undercard of Vasily Lomachenko, Luke Campbell. But we also have Caleb Truax, who will be facing Peter Quillen. So we got all those fights that are happening over that weekend. So I'm just mentioning those fights right now. But at the end of the day, I want to discuss Vasily Lomachenko versus Luke Campbell. Let me start off with that one. Alright, so I haven't seen a lot of Luke Campbell recently. I saw his fight against the Venezuelan, when the Venezuelan was champion. I forgot what his name is. Let me check him up for you guys so I can do my homework on that. So I know it's been a while since I watched Luke Campbell. Jorge Linares, right? I saw his fight against Jorge Linares. Since then, he's had some fights, but again, not with anybody that's has world class, top tier experience. So after the Jorge Linares fight, which was pretty close, by the way, he got dropped, but it was a pretty close fight. Split decision loss. He's got experience since then, but he has not really faced anyone since that fight that's on the level of Jorge Linares. Now, even so, he's given that experience. That's a huge learning experience for him. He did very well in that fight against Jorge Linares. So, having him go up against Vasily Lomachenko, there are following things that I want to mention. One, Vasily Lomachenko is a kind of fighter, like Manny Pacquiao, who he's always looking for an entry point in your defense. So he has this foot movement on the outside, and he will get to the inside based on the advantage he has to get to you. Now, they were saying that, you know, Luke Campbell has seen these kinds of styles before, and he will know how to handle it. And of course, it's going to be two southpaws facing each other. So Luke Campbell, from what I remember of him, of course, he probably has improved his game. His all-around game's not that great. So he was good on the outside, but he's still vulnerable on the inside. If you can keep Lomachenko on the outside somehow, some way, Lomachenko being a guy that can slip jabs and stuff like that, if you can keep him on the outside at the end of his stick, he definitely will win the fight. The problem with that is that Lomachenko's a guy who knows how to work his way around. So he will stay on the outside of you, but he's always looking for an entry point to get on the inside. Once he gets on the inside, that's it. Now, Magpack is explosive getting to the inside. Lomachenko is kind of a lot more technical. He will try and get on the inside technically. He kind of moves at one speed, more or less. Subtly changes speeds, subtly amps up things when he realizes he's got advantages over you and he's figured you out. So, with a fight like Luke Campbell versus Vasily Lomachenko, I'm sure Luke Campbell has improved as much as a fighter. I still don't think he faced top-tier opposition enough, though, to beat Vasily Lomachenko. So I got Vasily Lomachenko beating Luke Campbell. But I think that Luke Campbell's going to bring a little bit of stuff to the table. And let's just see if he could make it a split decision win against Vasily Lomachenko. He'd be the first to do that in a long time. So we'll see. Of course, he's got to utilize his pivot work to make sure he's always facing Lomachenko. If he can do that, make sure Lomachenko don't attack him on the weak side. Well, there's no weak side, sorry. Well, yeah, you can still attack him on the weak side. It'll be his left side. If he can, or is this his right side? It's left side, isn't it? Let's see. He's southpaw. No, it'd be right side, sorry. If Lomachenko can get to his right side or the weak side, then he's going to be in problems. If he can get past his jab, he's going to be in problems. Luke Campbell's inside game, I don't know how good he's been. If he has a good inside game, it'll make a big difference in the fight. Be able to grip up Lomachenko, kind of stop him from doing certain things. He'll have to use different techniques and skills to be able to deal with Lomachenko. All right. Hopefully he's got all those things in his arsenal. If not, well, Lomachenko's gonna beat him. Maybe even stop him. With respect to Andy Ruis versus Anthony Joshua, this is what I want to say. With Andy Ruis is an exceptional guy. He can get past the jab. He works the body really well. He has a nice jab to the pit. He's very good with short punches on the inside, as Anthony Joshua learned. Anthony Joshua's not so good on the inside. He leaves his defense open, so he gets open. He gets hit with left hooks, ankle punches, and Andy Ruis is very quick on the inside. So that's Andy Ruis' territory. So Anthony Joshua needs to keep Andy Ruis at bay, or he needs to slip to the inside and lock him up. Okay? He can't play around with mid-range, and he cannot play around with just getting Andy Ruis shots. Andy Ruis getting shots off on the inside. Andy Ruis will always, outdo him on the inside. So what Joseph Parker did was he varied range. If he's going to go to the inside, slip to the inside, lock up Andy Ruis. If he's on the outside, he's jabbing him on the outside. So that's what Anthony Joshua needs to do. Andy Ruis, on the other hand, since he can slip a jab and get to the inside, he just needs to continue doing that. But he'll also need to accommodate that Anthony Joshua might change range and distance, because he was having a little bit of difficulty getting to the inside of Joshua in the early rounds, and that's why Joshua caught him with that uppercut and that right and uppercut, and it was keeping him kind of off the end of his jab, even though Andy Ruis was still walking in, and getting his shots off. So those are the kinds of things that Anthony Ruis needs to do. Anthony Joshua, like I said, need to keep him on the end of the stick, and if he can't, then once he gets to the inside, you got to vary range, lock him up on the inside, sometimes change it so you got the advantage. Make sure you got position on Andy Ruis, and he can run off your shots. But you can't run off 2, 3, 4, 5 shots on the inside. 2 shots, your pot shot on the inside, lock him up, or you turn him on the inside, which will be hard. The other thing is Andy Ruis, I don't know how good he is fighting going backwards. Andy Ruis don't take a step backwards, so you need to make him push him backwards as well. So those are the kind of things Anthony Joshua needs to do. But like I said, there's some other fights also. I want to hear what you guys have to say, first of all, about Andy Ruis and Anthony Joshua, as well as Vasily Lomachenko, Luke Campbell. But we also got Hughie Fury versus Alexander Povetkin, Erislandy Lara versus Ramon Alvarez, Caleb Truax versus Peter Quillen. And I want to hear what you guys have to say about those fights as well. All right, guys, don't forget, not only can you subscribe, but now I have Venmo donation down below. You can check the Venmo if you want to donate. You guys have a good one. Peace. I'm out.